Hi everyone. So recently I did a channeling of Pleiades, and that is available on my YouTube channel at indigo_intuitives. They did speak a lot in that channeling about raising our ability to connect with our intuition, and I feel that that's really a useful tool for us at the moment because so many of you will be experiencing big changes in your life or feeling pulled in different directions. And quite often the egoic mind comes into that and confuses us and makes us doubt how we're feeling deep down about a situation. So when you learn to connect more into your intuition, then you can trust that process a little bit better. There's various techniques that you can use to do that. Definitely learning to do some meditations to connect with your spirit guides, if you're not already doing that, will be a good tool. And even in moments where you're feeling uncertain or feeling like you're lacking the strength to do something that you feel like you should be doing, that you feel that you're called to do, then asking for your soul team to come and give you that energy and help you help to provide you with that strength, will be really useful. There's a lot of energy coming in from the constellation of Lyra at the moment, and that energy is filled with love and compassion, but it's very strong energy. It's an energy of leadership. So that's something that I've been channeling a little bit, and watch out for that because some of the light language and stuff that comes through from that will hopefully help you to move into that frequency of strength and love. And if you are able to connect with that energy, or even just sit in a meditation and ask for it to come through, even if you don't necessarily perceive it directly, bringing through that energy and asking for it will help with anything that's feeling a little bit challenging. When it comes to connecting with your intuition, if you haven't already done much intuitive development, it's definitely a path that I would suggest to follow because it pulls you into alignment with your soul's purpose as well and starts to get you much more aware of the synchronicities that the universe is showing you to kind of give you those confirmations that you're connected to your path. And the more that you notice those things, the more you naturally begin to pull yourself onto that path as well. There are various techniques that you can use to do that kind of development. Like I said, meditation is one of the key things. When I first learned to use my kind of psychic abilities, I did a lot of meditation to open myself up to receiving the guidance or the information from my soul team. And then I was able to provide quite accurate information for people that I was practicing with at that time. And you will surprise yourself quite often with how much you're able to intuit about another person. Sometimes, if you do it in a group, you won't necessarily know who that information is for until you get used to working with that kind of energy. But once you start to kind of tap into that, it makes you realize how much more you're actually able to connect to. And one of the key things with learning to use your intuition is learning to trust it, because so often you will see or hear or experience images or insights for somebody else especially that make absolutely no sense to you, and you don't want to say it to them. You don't want to release that information because you think that you worry that they're going to say that you're wrong. There will be times where you're not right. We all misinterpret things sometimes, but you will probably find yourself quite amazed with how often you can be accurate there. You can also use oracle cards. They're much more simple than the tarot. If you want to use some techniques to kind of connect with your own higher self, your own higher intuition, you're basically just kind of feeling into the energy, picking whichever cards you're drawn to. And once you start doing that regularly and you start realizing that those cards actually really resonate, you'll realize how much is your own intuition actually guiding you to the card. And that's another thing that opens up your levels of awareness. Learning to tune into your energy through your body as well. Where do you feel uncomfortable? Where have you got kind of problems? There are many books and resources online about the body's energy system and how that relates to the chakras. That will again start to tune you into awareness of energy and the perception that you are more than just a physical form, that you're a crystallized energy and you're connected to the universe. And you can also try stuff like find a partner and do some work together, where you can use picture cards. They're called Xenol cards, but you can do your own thing. Like I use a technique where I'll get a photograph, put it in an envelope, and I'll get someone to tune into that envelope and see what they can see from of the photograph. And it's brilliant because so often when someone opens the envelope and sees the photograph, they're amazed at how accurate their what they think was their imagination was, but actually it's their kind of psychic capability. So that's a really good way of starting to train yourself. Different modalities work differently for different people. Psychometry is another really useful tool for opening that up. Psychometry, if you haven't already heard of it, is where you take an object like a piece of jewelry, something that another person wears regularly or has on them regularly, and you just see what images you get within your own mind about that. And again, that's one of those things that can be startling in terms of the accuracy that you'll receive when you think that you have no kind of psychic capability, or that it's kind of minimal and you're not really connected to it yet. So try a few different techniques, have a play around with it. It's so much fun learning to connect to your intuition, and especially when you start playing it out into your daily life and you are able to then manifest circumstances, because you shift yourself into the frequency of the things that you want to create. We all do that unconsciously, but when you make it conscious, that's when you see the real magic start to happen.